I finally hit Infinite. After a year and a half of playing this game pretty consistently and only taking a few months off, I finally hit Infinite. I've never made content on Snap, but I've been in a bit of a low point when it comes to making content because I'm just not fully enjoying what I make. I've been playing so much Marvel Snap in the background and in my off time that I thought, why don't I make a video? And this month, I finally hit Infinite. I've never hit it. The June season, I got to 97, I believe, maybe 96, and I didn't end up hitting it. I gave up about 2 days before. I think I could have hit it last season, but I'm really proud to hit it this season. Deadpool is one of my favorite characters, and to have this card back is really cool. That's my first Infinite card back, and hopefully not the last. But really in this video, I just want to kind of cover how I hit Infinite and kind of go over some tips to help newer players because my collector level is 4,000, which is decently high, but not compared to some of the players I play against and a lot of like the creators you probably see. So I thought I'd give my insight from someone who doesn't have all the cards, but is kind of in the middle between new and, you know, having everything. I think I'm going to try to do about 3 tips here, 3 main tips that really got me there. My first tip would really just be finding a deck you enjoy and like playing. I know that sounds simple and stupid, but really it's the truth. In the 4 or 5 months I've been playing this game consistently again after I took a few months off, I was only using one deck. And that is good. Just using one deck is completely fine, and you can get all the way to Infinite as long as it is a good deck and hopefully like a meta deck. But the deck I used for all those seasons was a destroy deck. I've loved the destroy play type. It was basically this, but I didn't have Gladiator until this season, so don't really count Gladiator because I didn't hit Infinite with this deck. I maybe went up 5 ranks with this deck, and I started at, I think, 67, 65, 67 at the beginning of this season. It's a pretty viable deck. You've probably seen this deck in a ton of places. It's one of the most common destroy decks there is. It's pretty simple, really, and it's good. This deck got me pretty far. This deck is the one that almost got me to Infinite last season, and last season I started at like 40, I think 40 or 50. So again, don't count Gladiator. I don't remember exactly who I had Gladiator. Gladiator's obviously a great choice, so if you have him, use him. Back then I didn't, and it was probably just some other destroy card. I think I had Deathlock in here, another 3 costs. But yeah, this is a deck I've used a lot. It's actually, Carnage is the only card I have with the gold finish. So obviously it shows I've played this deck a lot, and the destroy archetype has just kind of been my favorite for a while. But this season, with the big Arisham switching up the meta and just kind of changing how the game was kind of played for a while, it's called My Beloved Infinite deck. That's what I have it named as. I'll never delete it. But this is the deck that got me to Infinite. This deck got me from the 80s all the way to 100. And really the biggest power play card in here was Cassandra. She carried me. But also the card that literally won me my last game to Infinite was Juggernaut. And he won me countless games. Countless. This card is beautiful. And I feel like it's underrated. I never see anyone with Juggernaut. If you're able to get Copycat, she's a pretty good new card. Personally, she's probably my favorite of the season besides Cassandra. She's just fun, man. She's just fun. But this is the deck I got to Infinite with. It's honestly a deck that newer players could use. Everybody can obtain Cassandra. Copycat you don't need in this deck, but she does help. She's a very switchable card here. And then Gwenpool was the seasonal card, which you don't need her either. She's good. She helps Brood, but she's also not needed. So all the cards that were Series 5, you could technically switch out besides Cassandra, but anybody can obtain her. So this deck is very viable. I know the season's about to end. If you are watching this video and you do need some help to finish off the season, I highly recommend this deck. But again, tip 1 was finding a deck you enjoy. And the Destroy archetype was my favorite, and I think is still my favorite archetype. I switched it up. I was scared to switch it up because I relied so heavily on this deck for months, and just finding decks that are not only fun but are also good. You gotta find decks that are good. Do your research, look up YouTube videos, go to the websites that have deck builders, and just experiment. Use the Deadpool's Diner to try out new decks. But yeah, find a deck you enjoy. You know, this is just the Sarah Surfer. This is basically just a Sarah Surfer archetype with the addition of Cassandra. To kind of counter Arisham, and you throw Darkhawk in there too. So if you get an Arisham game, you can almost snap every time. I was able to snap almost every time. Don't snap right away. I learned my lesson doing that too. I lost some big cube games because I would snap instantly against Arisham, but then I would not draw Cassandra or Darkhawk, or I would just draw Cassandra and one of the locations would screw me. Yeah, I wouldn't snap at least till turn 3. Always see your locations. The three locations are literally what win you games, and play a huge role that I feel like a lot of people don't realize. And so always wait to snap until turn 3, in my opinion. You don't have to. People will say snap when you have a good hand, a good starting hand, which I do agree, but I think a starting hand in a good 3 locations is when you should snap. So give this deck a try if you want. Tip 1, just to kind of sum it all up, find decks you enjoy and just do some research, honestly. And if you don't want to give this deck a try and you're just like in the 90s and you're really close, maybe switch some stuff up. I would recommend switching your whole archetype, and if you are, go try it in Deadpool's Diner in the lower bub battles, because I just don't think it's smart to switch your whole archetype and then go straight into ladder matches. I've done that. I've lost a lot of cubes because I'm like, let's switch to the whole deck, and then I don't know how to play the deck. You have to learn your deck to be the most successful with it. If you don't know when to play your certain cards, it's just it's rough. It's so rough. But obviously with this, you have the Forge Brood combo, the Brood Absorbing Man combo, the Sarah Surfer combo, being able to play 3 cost on turn 6. And then Juggernaut, again, won me my last game, and I will love Juggernaut and use him in so many more decks from now on. Juggernaut's a powerhouse. And then you have the Rockslide Korg to help with Darkhawk in non-Orisham games. And then Gwenpool to help Brood, Copycat to just hopefully, get lucky and grab one of their good cards. She's just kind of a wild card. But it's a consistent deck. You have a lot of chemistry and viable play options. So try this deck if you're really close. Trust me, it got me there. My second tip to help you hit infinite would just have to be, don't play this game when you're angry. That's a big one for me. I don't know if it's for everybody. I'm going to save my biggest helpful tip to the end, which I think is relatable to everyone. This is just one thing I really struggled with, especially in previous seasons, and I tried to really hone in and learn to not do this in the past few weeks, especially in this season. And that is just not playing the game when I'm angry. There are moments where I get pretty frustrated. I rarely get frustrated at games anymore. I used to get super angry at video games, but there has been points in Marvel Snap where I'm just have a ton of games of bad hand draws, bad locations, opponents who are just better than me, and I'm just playing poorly, or it's late and I'm tired and I'm just trying to play and get some extra cubes. But my biggest thing is I get kind of just irritated, not to the point where I'm yelling at my phone, but to the point where I'm just not focused enough to actually win these games, or to the point where I'm snapping because I'm just a little agitated and I know I can win this one, when really I look at my hand and, the board, and I'm clearly losing everything. So, it's really just learn to take a break if you do get angry. And I know this one probably doesn't relate to everyone, but maybe it does. I'm not sure. But do not play the game when you're angry. Or if you are angry, play a different mode like Conquest, which really you have nothing to lose if you're playing the earliest ladder. Right now, play Deadpool's Diner and just gamble smaller amounts and just, so you can keep playing and earning. But take a break. It's important. You don't need to play this game angry. It's a thing I struggled with a lot in the previous seasons, is I would just get upset and I would snap and then lose the game. And I would lose 4 to 8 cubes, multiple games in a row. I would go down 4 or 5 ranks in a matter of 10 minutes. And it literally screwed me last season. I still had this issue last season, and I most likely would have hit infinite if I would have learned that, let's get off and go do something else, and then let's play at a better time. For me personally, this might be stupid, but I find it harder to play during the update hours, like 2 p.m. Central, when the daily update comes out with the daily shop reset. I find that the hardest time to play the game. I don't know why. I might be delusional. Very possible. When I play around the shop reset time, I always feel like my games are a lot harder for some reason, and I feel like I lose more consistently. But that's tip number 2. Just don't play the game angry. Take breaks. Play one of the other modes. Just some other little side tips that I won't get too in depth on. Learn locations. Locations is a huge deal. Learning what locations really help your deck, which it's pretty simple. That's one of the easiest things to learn. Oh, I'm running an on-reveal deck or ongoing deck, and I have the location that doubles my ongoing abilities or reveals my card twice. Learn the locations and learn what locations fit your deck. Also, I kind of said in tip 1 when I was talking about the deck side of things, but also learn the meta. Learning the meta is very important. Learn what decks you are better against. Obviously, if you're running a Darkhawk Cassandra deck, you're the biggest counter to Orisham. So just learn what decks you can play really well against, and you have an advantage from the go. My final tip, those are just some side tips, little quick ones to help you out that have really helped me. Really big emphasis on the don't play angry. Again, I've lost so many cubes, but I really didn't do it that much this season, and I hit infinite, so clearly it helped. My final tip, which I don't know if this is a common term in the community or whatever, but snap discipline is the biggest tip I can give you. It is so important to learn when I should snap. Take easy 2-cubers. Don't always snap on turn 6 when you know you're gonna win, because if you already have a huge advantage and you know you're gonna win this game, your opponent's already probably thinking that in the back of their head, and if they see you retreat, they're just gonna leave and you get the 1 cube. But if you don't retreat, you get 2 cubes. See, that's technically a whole nother game just right there. So especially my earlier stages of this season, I did that a lot, was not snapping nearly as much when I knew I had the win, because just taking the 2 cubes, especially that it's only 7 cubes to go up a rank instead of 10 like it was a while ago. So just take the 2-cuber games when you see them. And then obviously if you think you're going to win and then they snap, you can snap 2 and get the 8-cuber. You know, that's when I get my 8-cubers. Learn your snap conditions based on your deck, like Darkhawk and Cassandra against Orisham. 100% snap on that, you know, but make sure you have it in your hand and not just sitting in the back of your deck, just waiting for you to draw it, you know, because if you snap too early, you might not pull it and then you lose the game. So it's just something that happens. So yes, please learn snap discipline. I think that is the most beneficial tip I can give you. I think it's the most beneficial one to me, was learning snap discipline. In the past, I would snap even when I think I'm going to lose, and then I would lose. On top of snap discipline, learn to retreat. Retreating is not a bad thing. But a few months ago, I was scared to retreat, and I would just stay in even though I think I'm going to lose, because maybe I get lucky. You usually don't get lucky and win the game. I'm sorry to tell you, or at least for me, I still lose those games. Learn your snap discipline and learn when to snap based on obviously the deck you're running. Again, I went over the deck I used to get to infinite. Feel free to use it, please. I trust it really helped, and I don't think of myself as a great snap player. You know, I'm getting there the more I play, but I'm not the best snap player, and I hit infinite. So feel free to use the deck, and if you have any questions on some replacements, I would love to give some feedback in the comments. If you want to run that deck but you're missing some cards, I can try to help you out to build it a little better, because truly I think it's a great deck, and I want y'all to get to infinite before the season ends. It's about to end, and if you can't hit it this season because it's a little late and you might be too far away, let's hit it next season. You know, when you have the feeling, oh, I should retreat. There's nothing wrong with it. Losing 1 cube is so much better than losing 4. So learn to retreat, and also learn when to snap. It's the most important thing. But I think that's kind of it. That's my biggest tip, I believe. If you need some tips for Deadpool's Diner, I'll throw one in here for you. But my biggest tip is just play 1 behind. Say you just unlocked pizza, play tacos. Say you just unlocked dumpling, play pizza. And then ramen, play dumpling. Bubble tea I used a ton. Bubble tea was like my go-to for a while, because steak to bubble tea was a big difference when I was down in these numbers. Racking up bubs and bubble tea was so nice. I was up to 30 or like 25 million. I lost it all because I hit infinite and I was just gambling away because I stopped caring. I hate that because I did want the variant, but I don't know if I'll get it now. I might still try here though, because there's still 4 days. I think I can get it. But same here. You got cherry pie, or you got chimichanga or cherry pie. Play chimichanga, man. 2 million to 10 million. That's such a big difference. I played 1 chimichanga, lost all of my bubs. I could have played 5 cherry pies in that span. It's just play 1 behind. That's a big tip I would give you. I use the same deck for this for the most part. I use Athena deck for a lot of my Deadpool's Diner. I don't know if I still have it. My deck list is a mess, y'all. This one, I believe, was my Deadpool's Diner for a while. This helped me climb a lot. Don't put Cassandra in here. Obviously, if you're still trying to get her, I haven't played much since I got her in that mode. So don't throw Cassandra in here. I don't remember who I had in here. I think that's the deck. That's my Athena deck. And yeah, these are my tips for Marvel Snap. I've never made a Marvel Snap video before, so bear with me. But again, I'm gonna try to make more videos on Marvel Snap. It's a genre of content I would like to indulge in and get interested in, and maybe I can make something of this. I've played this game so much now, so might as well incorporate it into what I love doing, which is making content. If you're new here and you're in the Marvel Snap community, I've made horror game videos and funny moment videos for years now, just about, pretty inconsistently, but I've made content for a long time. Marvel and this game is something I feel pretty passionate about, and I just want to get in the content scene of it and see where it takes me. Maybe I'll start streaming again. God, I haven't streamed in years, or a long time at least. So maybe I'll do that. Throw in on some streams here if we can build up a little Marvel Snap community, because this game is very streamable, which I love. Heck, I catch myself watching streams all the time for this game. Yeah, the Twitch drops, everything. It's so nice. I don't know. This game's great. It's got so much potential. But yeah, so if you're new here and you're from other people's communities and in the Snap community and you're watching this trying to hit Infinite, again, this is my first video. Bear with me. If you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see on this game, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any feedback, please give it to me. I strive off of feedback and learning what to improve. If you're from the Marvel Snap community and you want to check out some other content as well, feel free to. None of it's Marvel Snap related. Again, this is my first video for this game, but a ton of funny moment stuff, a ton of horror game videos from my October series. So feel free to check that out if you want to know more about me and watch more of my videos. There's a ton there, but hopefully you can expect more Marvel Snap in the near future. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.